I think what it comes down to is a basic knowledge that journalists have, which is quite simply that if they criticise Israel, then it's potentially trouble. If they criticise the Palestinians, then there is much less of a problem.
On May the 31st, 2010, Israeli forces attacked an aid flotilla headed for Gaza in international waters. They killed 9 people. In the days that followed, Israeli propaganda set out to manipulate the news agenda.
They were clubbed, they were beaten, stabbed. There was even a report of gunfire.
Tonight at 10, the Israelis under pressure after the raid on ships taking aid to Gaza. The Israelis are accused of carrying out a bloody massacre, but they claim it was self-defense.
In the immediate aftermath of the Israeli attack on the aid flotilla in June, for one thing, the Israelis supplied doctored film, even with captions, which was widely used across ITV and the BBC. It was labelled, sure. But the context of this, according to the Israelis, that their people who were attacking the flotilla were actually being attacked by the people who were on the flotilla. That Israeli perspective, propaganda, sure. Dominated.
Well, I don't think it dominated, but certainly the Israeli propaganda machine, as you well know, is very, very sophisticated. And in its own terms is quite successful on occasions. And yes, it is the case that sometimes media organisations fall into a trap laid for them by
it's only sophisticated because we allow them to be sophisticated.
But again, you know, it's only when you can come to write the history of these events that you can see it with that hindsight view, when it's actually happening on a daily basis. You've got to be very careful what you do. When the story is over and when someone has the time and brain power left to actually kind of write the definitive history of it, sure. Then if you got things wrong, you put your hands up and you say, well, at that time, we weren't aware of that, we made a mistake, that's you know, that happens from time to time.
People like the Palestinians can't wait until someone writes a definitive history. Yeah. They depend on journalists now, don't they?
You're suggesting that journalists can, that the job of journalism is to change the world. It ain't. I've got to tell you, even someone with your massive experience should know better than that.
No, I'm not saying that. You're saying that.
Our job is to make sure that the public who consume our news are as informed as we can make them, so that they can make their own minds up.
But viewers can only make their own minds up if they're given all the available facts. Graphic independent video was available on the internet on the night of the attack. 4 months later, a United Nations investigation described the Israeli attack as displaying unnecessary and incredible violence. 6 people were executed at point-blank range. The attack warranted prosecution for war crimes. This was only reported in a 12-second item on ITV News and completely ignored on the 3 main BBC TV bulletins and seen only on News 24.